Good morning. I'm back in my exciting space. You can see at the end of the day yesterday and the beginning of the day today, because you know what? Pretty soon this space isn't going to look like this. So I'm enjoying every moment of this liminal space. So what is a what? That's one of those big college words that nobody uses and hardly anybody knows anything about. And as the renegade that I am, I like to take stuff from where nobody can see it off a shelf somewhere and bring it into everyday life where we can use stuff that most people don't talk about. Because the interesting thing is I've found is that when you have a word for something, you can actually understand it. There are languages that don't have words for certain things that we take for granted. You know, if you think about the English language, especially U.S. English, these are the things that we have words for. And when you travel around the world, you'll find that other cultures and other countries don't have a word for that. So what we understand intrinsically, intuitively, they're like, what? So this is another one of those words. Like if you don't have a word for this, you really can't get it. And when you're stepping out of your comfort zones or when you're making change your superpower, this is a really powerful word to have. So today's Facebook Live, that I'm so excited about, is in my liminal space, and we're going to talk about this very cool thing that you can use all the time. So number one, liminal just means that there's no boundaries to it, that you haven't been here before, and that it's kind of like, when those heroes used to go out on journeys, they would go to the liminal space, because when you go to the limits of your understanding, you're now in the liminal space. That's all it means. It's just a state of being where you don't know. And most people really hate that. And I'm going to tell you in number two why that's so. So number two is there are different states of knowing things. And it turns out that when we know things, we're really comfortable. So when we know things, we're in our comfort zone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you, I used to teach this years and years ago as the learning ladder. And when I think about it now, I realize it actually serves us very mightily in this whole liminal space and making change your superpower and why people don't want to change and stepping out of your comfort zones. Oh my gosh, this works perfectly here. So I'm repurposing it for our conversation this morning. And don't you think I was up in the middle of the night dreaming this up? Yeah, I was. All right, so imagine that you have a ladder that has 4 steps. Now, I had to work with which fingers I'm using because in America, it would be interesting if I didn't use it this way. So, first step of the ladder, the very first step you get on, is blissful ignorance. Now, this is a fabulous place to be because you don't know what you don't know and you're having a happy time. It's comfortable. It's not a problem for you. Now, this is a comfort zone and this is not a liminal space, okay? Now, when you look at the second, we're going to skip the second for a second because the second is the liminal space. So now the third is above that where you know what you know. So you're an expert, okay? You know some things and everybody, good morning, everybody loves to know some stuff. So when we know what we know, we're all comfortable because we are, we are masters of the particular fate we have and it feels really good to know. Now, here's something interesting that you might not know about knowing, and that is anytime you learn anything, this is all humans for eternity, all the time, whenever we learn something, it becomes unconscious because our brain is set up to be programmed so we don't have to think about stuff. Kind of cool. So when you were little, you probably remember learning to tie your shoes. Do you remember what it was like when you didn't know how to tie your shoes? Somebody had to tie your shoes for you. Now you're little, and the whole shoe tying thing just doesn't make any sense. Now, once you learn how to tie your shoes, you're like, snap, I can do this. I can tie any shoe anywhere. Remember learning how to drive? When you first got in that car, you wanted to drive. It was something that was important to you, but you had no idea how to do it. And then there's that whole traffic thing, and yeah. And the minute you got your license, you're like, I know how to drive. I can drive anything. We love that state. That's a comfort zone. I know what I know. That's the third rung of the ladder. Now, the fourth rung of the ladder is I've forgotten more than you will ever learn. And that's like the master of all. You are so learned. You know so many things that, there's probably really nothing new in the world that you don't already know. Lots of folks are like that, especially when we get to our 50s, 60s, 70s. Yeah, you can't teach me anything. Now, be in this world where everything is changing all the time, and your 2-year-old knows more than you do about your phone or your computer or whatever. It's like, this is not the world that used to be when you got to that age. You knew everything, because you can't possibly know everything. However, feeling that you do is a comfort zone and is a place where, you don't have to move. So 3 of those places are comfort zones. I don't know what I don't know, and it's not a problem for me. And you don't have to tell me either. Number 2, I know what I know, and I can tell you. And number 3, I've forgotten more than you will ever know, and you can't tell me anything. Those are all comfort zones that humans love. Good morning, Sharon. Now, here's the liminal space. Remember those 4? This one right here. Now, I used to call this the learning zone. And I realized that it's the learning zone because it's the liminal space. And here's what's true about this space. Now I know what I don't know. My ignorance of whatever this thing is, this new thing that I've never been in before, now I'm really feeling that I don't know. And we do not like that. Back when I was training trainers, this is where your students are. This is where your learners are. And it's not fun to be an adult and have to learn stuff, because we learned stuff when we were little, when we wanted to, and now we're like, oh, do I have to learn that? The liminal space works just like that. It's brand new. We've never been here before. And think about the world right now. We've never been here before. So the whole world is kind of like a big old liminal space, which is why this word is so important. The first time I learned this word, I was like, oh my God, I've been here all the time, but I didn't have a word for it. Because I kept changing, I kept moving, I kept shifting, and I kept finding myself in places where I didn't know what I was doing. Now, here is number 3, and number 3 is the coolest part. Number 1 is the liminal space is a thing, and this is a word that will serve you mightily. Number 2, there's a process of where the liminal space fits in our reality, and our reality, if you think about it as a 4-step ladder, is I don't know what I don't know, and it's not a problem for me. Lots of folks are here. And then skip the liminal space, which is number 2, up to number 3, I know what I know, and you can't tell me anything. And number 3 is I've forgotten more than you will ever know, and you really can't tell me anything. These are folks who don't want to change. It's comfortable. Why would we step out of these comfort zones, right? Because it's good, it's fun. We earned our place in these places. So now we're in this world. The COVID world, the changes, the new normal, the ready for reinvention, the, make change your superpower. We're in that world. And the liminal space is our secret power. Because when you know how to work in the liminal space, you can get through anything. So that was 1, and that was 2. Now here's 3. The liminal space is a place of disorientation. So I'm sure we brought this up, in Bring More Life to 2022, but there's these 2 words, orientation, which I know where I am. I know, it's like when you move into a new neighborhood and you finally find your way to your house. Yeah, I'm oriented. I know where I am. And disorientation is I have no clue where I am. I have no clue what's going on. And that makes us kind of panic. So the liminal space and disorientation go together. And when you understand that this is normal, the liminal space is how we learn. Disorientation gives us the impetus to get oriented again. It's like, wow, this is kind of cool. This is what keeps me up in the middle of the night. These kinds of thoughts. So number 3 is understanding that disorientation is a natural state when you're in this liminal space. Now, people are going to be using the liminal space in sentences with their families for the next week, I hope. So when you get disoriented, it's just like that story that I told you about the kayak. So that's why the kayak story, I've remembered it. It's over 20 years. I remember that story, although I have never sat in a kayak. I don't know if I really want to. However, mentally and emotionally, I've been in a kayak a lot. So the first thing they teach you when you take kayak training is they turn you upside down so you're disoriented. We like to be up, straight. We like to see where we're going. Upside down on our heads with a kayak above us and the water all around us is not a fun state. And here's what they teach you. They teach you that this is normal. It's a normal part of kayaking. And when you find yourself, without your instructors, without anybody around you, underwater like that, the first thing they teach you before they let you leave is how to reorient yourself. So no matter what happens, you'll be safe. So that's what's so exciting to me about the liminal space. And so, like, I'm in this space, which will not be like this 2 days from now. But while I have this moment where I don't know exactly what's going to happen next, and it's full of possibilities, I wanted to be sure that we got to explore the liminal space and share this experience together. So when you understand liminal is a normal part of life, it means you don't know. And you know that you don't know. So you're not in ignorance. You're not, I don't know what I don't know, and I don't care. You're, oh my God, I don't know some things. So that's the impetus for you to learn something new, to change, to step out of your comfort zone, to reinvent. And number 3, understanding that you can reorient yourself. That's what it takes to get through the liminal space. Oh my God, where are we? What do we do? You simply understand that keep on moving, keep on looking around, and using the strategies that you've already learned and the strategies that I will continue to share with you in these Facebook Lives. You can move forward even when you're disoriented. Understanding that. Now here's the PS. When you are in a liminal space, your brain translates that as not safe. Isn't that wild? In your body, you're like, I don't know where I am. It's not normal. And so you can't get to your frontal cortex to do what you need to do until you assess that you're safe. This Facebook Live is to assure you that the liminal space is safe. Disorientation is safe. Your job is to reorient and find your way. 2, now I know what I know. The next, now I know what I know. The next shore, right? So you're over the water, you're flying like we said yesterday. What's the next shore? That's what the liminal space propels you to. So when you get, oh, the liminal space, I know what this is. Okay, no problem. You're safe. And now it's uncomfortable because you got to learn some new things, and we were much better learners when we were little kids. So that brings you up to here. Is this good or bad? This feels bad. I know it's safe, but it feels awful. Guess what? When you understand, oh, the liminal space is a good thing. Feels crappy, but it's really a good thing. That will get you to your frontal cortex where you can decide what you want to do next. So, 1 is normal. 2, there's four places in the liminal space is 1. 3 of them are safe, and they don't move you forward. The only place that moves you forward, and if you're seeing the work that I've done on reinvention, this is the space of reinvention. The liminal space is when you reinvent. You make something new. It's like this room. This room is ready for reinvention. This room is ready to become something amazing. And this room, like your life, is full of possibility. So, I hope this was fun for you. This was exceptionally fun for me. I hope this will serve you as you go forward in 2022. And as always, I appreciate your support. I appreciate you watching, even though most of the time when I do this, it's going to have to be on the replay. Thank you for watching this. And I'm Maya Beatty. I'll see you next time.